Let me go ahead and get our intro out of the way. That wasn't it. That was just faking it. Just ignore that. Hello everyone, and thank you for tuning in to Wowhead Weekly number 134. This is a 2-week show because we weren't here last week, so we have a lot to talk about. Before we get into the World of Warcraft news, let me introduce my lovely co-host, Wowhead Site Manager Perkelia.
Hey everyone, we have so much 732 PTR news to cover, and before we start, our weekly prize this week is an Alterac Brew Pup in honor of Brewfest, and the keyword to enter is also Brewfest.
Perfect.
And Brightpaw is here, and you can see him in the background, and we now also have a new Twitch emote for Brightpaw.
Yes, it's so awesome. It's him, but he's kind of like purple tinted. It's supposed to be a mashup between what Brightpaw looks like and what Brightpaw looks like. So, but yeah, if you're watching us here live on Twitch, be sure to type in the keyword Brewfest into Twitch chat to be entered to win the Alterac Brew Pup, who, by the way, is not only an adorable little St. Bernard guy, but you can click on his flask, and if you try hard enough, you can get drunk.
Yep.
So that's an option.
He's a very good dog.
Yeah, he's a very good dog. He's a heckin' good dog. So we found out a lot of new stuff this week. First of all, we found a new model for Argus the Unmaker, which will be the final boss in the upcoming 7.35 raid. I do have a picture of it. So the red is the new tint that we've seen that's Mythic only, and then the blue is what you see on all of the difficulties.
Right, and we don't have anything confirmed with Blizzard, but based on the data mining, it looks like Argus will have a special phase similar to Gul'dan. I know a lot of people were disappointed that Kil'jaeden did not have a special phase, but there's a lot of things like Argus Mythic Transform, Grasp of the Death Titan, you know, Sargeras' Gaze, Sentence of Sargeras, so it sounds like we're getting some information on you know, what could happen in Mythic difficulty if he goes from kind of being blue and peaceful to, like, red and very angry looking.
I can't imagine that at any point peaceful is going to be our interaction with him, but it's certainly interesting that they not only are doing what appears to be an additional phase, but a whole fancy model for that phase. I think that's a lot.
Yeah, I believe Gul'dan had that as well, like he was kind of fell and then he became orange. Speaking of that, I'm surprised there is no fell.
Yeah.
There's no green in any of these models, so that's kind of interesting.
Weird and good, though. Weird and good. Now, we also found in the 7.35 PTR data, is that the right?
It's called 732. My guess is that there's going to be a bunch of little small patches. Like, you know, Ian was saying at Gamescom that there's going to be, like, a bunch of story patches, so my guess is that we're going to be like 732 and 4 and 6 and 8 or you know, whatever.
So what you guys are seeing here on your screen right now are tokens that will allow you to identify a legendary for your class. We originally saw these in 7.2, but they were scrapped and now they're being reused again in the current PTR data. We have no real information other than that to give you, though.
Yeah, I mean, we think that something is happening with them because Blizzard took the time to update them and give them new names.
And their item level 1,000, yep.
Yeah. But, you know, just if you were taking a break from WoW, in 7.2 there was going to be these bind on account tokens where you could use them and get a legendary for a certain spec, and they were bind on account. And that system got scrapped in favor of what we got with buying the Relinquished gear for Nether Shards and now Veiled Argunite and having a small chance of getting a legendary. But, you know, Ian did say at Gamescom with Fat Boss TV that not having 2 legendaries felt like a handicap for, you know, getting into challenging content. So maybe something could be done there with drop rates to help new players feel caught up. So maybe what we've data mined is some possible solution, you know, towards that.
I wonder how they're going to handle it, though, because it makes me wonder, like, are they going to have it be, like, you turn in Veiled Argunite and you can specifically buy the legendary token? Because then at that point, like, right now, I don't have any enhancement legendaries. I don't have any elemental legendaries. I have 2 legendaries that can be used for all specs, and then the rest are resto, but I can't change my spec from resto because I still have not gotten my best in slot. Like, it's still
right, and the wording is a little strange. Like, it doesn't say, you know, identify a legendary item for your loot specialization. It's just like identify a shaman legendary.
Yes.
So a lot of people are really confused if this is something, if this is nothing. We did check the PTR. We did not see these for sale with Veiled Argunite, so still could be a mystery. There's a Q&A on the 5th, so maybe people will ask about this. And
I'm sure someone will ask, but hopefully if someone doesn't ask about it, I'm done with them and their questions. put that out there right now. But, I mean, we have heard from the developers that they understand that it is really detrimental to not have two, so I think it's safe to assume that it has something to do with an initial catch-up, not necessarily some, you know, help for someone like me who just can't catch a break. I just keep getting terrible. Like, I have 6 legendaries. All of them are bad. Like, one of them is okay. The other 5 are like, eh. And I keep switching them around. Oh, like, maybe if I use this combination. But no, the truth is I really just need the Praetorian Tide Collars or the helmet that increases Bloodlust. There's really just several legendaries that are good, and I just don't have any of them. Except Prydaz. Prydaz is good. But, oh, speaking of my trinket dilemma, have I complained about trinkets yet today? So I also have a lot of trinkets, and I just keep finding that my healing is the highest with my 860 Arcano Crystal. If something doesn't feel bad, man, and that's not it, I don't know what is. Because
well, good thing we are getting Arcano Crystal 2.0.
Tell me more, Kirk. Tell me more.
All right. So, there are 6 trinkets that drop from the final boss. And each trinket is, it's aimed towards a certain spec. So there's like a tank trinket, a healer trinket, caster DPS, strength DPS, agility, and then something called Aman'Thul's Vision, which is for everyone. And it's same as the Arcana Crystal, but less of each stat. So like critical strike, haste, versatility, mastery, and then a special proc where you gain speed, avoidance, and leech for 12 seconds. So the idea is that it actually, if there was like a baby version of Aman'Thul's Vision, it would not have as many stats as the Arcano Crystal, but the idea is that, you know, you're way more likely to get like, you know, a 950 Aman'Thul's Vision than, you know, Titan Forged, unstable Arcano Crystal.
Yeah.
And the very interesting thing about this, besides my cat making an entrance, is that in addition to having special equip procs, there is a second, bonus that you can get with these, and the warrior guide writer, I hope I don't butcher your name, Archintiros, did a bunch of testing with some other Wowhead guide writers to determine exactly how you get these additional procs to work. And it turns out that you need 1 member of your raid, 6, so you need someone in your raid to have 1 of each trinket, you need them to equip the trinket, and then you need them to have their procs overlap, and when the procs overlap...
Not again! Oh my gosh, wait. I'm coming back. I'm coming back to complain. Not
like
again!
The legendaries. It's like the Ring and Warlords.
No, I hated that! Ian, why? Ian, please. What? It's like, someone on Twitter said it perfectly. It's like, Ian is the developer who, the community demands pizza, and he gives us pizza with pineapple on it. And then says things like, the community is very excited to have pizza, only to be disappointed that there's pineapple on it. And while that feels bad, here's why it's not.
Right.
So why?
There's some pros and cons to what Archie was saying. And so one of the possible pros is that it could discourage some raid stacking because, like, you need to bring an agility DPS, you know, to the raid now. Like, you need a strength DPS. You can't, like, take that person out of the raid, and the more people in the raid with the trinkets, the more really overpowered procs you get, and then there's more uptime, and then you end up clearing the raid faster week after week. The downsides is that Aman'Thul is kind of problematic because, you know, like it seems like everyone wants to equip it, and like you don't want to be like that guy that has to wear, you know, the caster trinket as opposed to, you know, the cool Aman'Thul trinket. There has been some buffing and nerfing going on, so maybe they're trying to make the trinkets more equal. But yeah, that's how it was. It's also interesting. Blizzard didn't really explain how these worked. It just was based on, you know, player testing. So we don't really know what Blizzard has intended.
I hate it. Well, I hate anything that involves shared procs. I hate them. Like, I hate them. I hate them.
It's also like, oh, like the boss has flown up into the air. Like, I'm glad our 6, you know, trinkets have procced. You know, like, thanks for this.
Also, I'm sorry that I brought up pineapple on pizza because, man, that's our whole chat right now. And also, I, for one, like pineapple on pizza. I just know it's a hot button issue, which is why I brought it up. But, goodness, I am so disappointed that it's a shared proc. I hated that in Warlords, and I hate it now. I hate it.
So my speculation before they were up for testing, I like my idea better. which was, I mean, so this is not how it actually works, but I like the idea that in the Argus phase where the Titans help you, these were like random extra buffs you got if you had the trinket. Like, oh, you have, you know, Agrimar's trinket, like, when he shows up in the fight, like, your trinket does something else.
Yeah,
and then I was like, oh, then I'm like, maybe as you clear the raid, if you have this trinket, like, the Titans will randomly, like, help you, so if more people get trinkets, then you just get more help, and that's better than, like, you know, a boring, like, LFR buff, oh, we gain 5% determination, you know, every week. Yeah. But nope, it's not that way. It's, you know, I guess the mindset is that you're meant to take a balanced amount of ranged and melee, and everyone works together with these trinkets. But also, okay, so
that's also, here's another, like, I'm just a cynic today, because here's why that's a problem. In a perfect world, people are just like, oh, we have some people of every class and every spec.
And it's really not good for smaller raids where you are less likely
that's
to
where I
have
was going with that. So, like, in a perfect world, you're right. You could pick and choose and have this great balanced raid group. And in high-end mythic raiders, I'm sure they don't have this issue. But the average raider, the average raiding group, doesn't get to select and pick and choose. The truth is, like, as a raid leader of a medium guild, or a medium raid group, like, we clear heroic, we dabble in mythic occasionally, but in general, we're just there to have fun and see the content. There are times when I have to allow people to main switch because that's the only way they're going to keep playing the game. So to put this in here where it's like so favoring a perfectly balanced raid when in the reality of a situation, like who has a perfectly balanced raid? Who has those
It can also cause like trinket problems if it's like, well, this trinket isn't great for me. Like, you know, if we don't have enough trinkets to...
Well, and it's also going to screw up parsing and stuff, too, because you have to have a melee use it, you have to have a caster use it, and that person, it's either going to be way better or not as good as it's either going to be their best in slot or not going to be their best in slot.
Right, and that's like, well, why do I have to use the trinket that's not my best in slot, you know, so...
I hate it.
Definitely interesting. I would be curious to learn more about them officially from Blizzard. You know, usually when they introduce something large, they try to explain it, but, you know, as we've seen with another, like, Crucible, sometimes they just sort of help people figure it out on their own. So,
the Crucible is also bad. And I've been I'm still standing by my statement that I do believe that Legion has been the best World of Warcraft expansion as far as content so far. I really believe that. I'm not, but there have also been some, like, comically, like, the Netherlight Crucible is terrible. The only thing I like about it is how it ties in with the Ilaria and Tyrellian audio drama where she's like, oh, I'm light, I'm dark, I'm light, I'm dark. Right?
Yeah,
so, like,
I mean, I like going back to content being good.
Yeah, I think the fantasy of it is great. I think the application of it is ridiculously bad. I also, and then a shared proc trinket. That's all.
Yeah.
I just love the game and I want it to be so good. It's like I'm not complaining
funny
because I hate it.
How like, oh, it's this like RP thing where like the Titan like infuses your trinket during one phase of the fight and it's like, no, like it's actually like a raid-wide coordinated proc. Like people's initial
I hate it.
You know, interpretations of the trinkets were like the opposite of what it was.
I hate it. It could be so good. That's all it is. It's really like any complaint I ever have about World of Warcraft comes from a genuine place of love. I love the game. I want it to be great. And like, I just feel like shared raid-wide procs and the Netherlight Crucible and honestly the idea of randomly identifying legendaries, like stuff with the like there's RNG is good to a certain extent, and this whole expansion has just been RNG on RNG on RNG on RNG on RNG on RNG, and it just
I also
usually
feel
the
like
catch-up mechanic. I'm so sorry. Go ahead. I've interrupted you like 84 times.
So Blizzard usually does development notes for each PTR, and they said that 7.3.2 was relatively small, and they didn't feel the need to do that. But I think that community perceptions and feedback would have been better served if they had tried to share their vision for the Netherlight Crucible, or what these trinkets are, or what the legendary items are. I think, you know, you can say, oh, well, you can't always get ahead of data mining, but they did a pretty good job in past patches trying to explain things, and, you know, we've had a few kind of controversial, spicy surprises in the data that some guidance would be good.
The Netherlight Crucible worked a certain way, and then, like, right before it went live, they just, like, changed everything.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, the data mining was wrong. It's like, no, it actually showed ranks on the PTR. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, well, and it's just, come on.
So, yeah, but big thanks to Arch and Tyros for, researching all this and sharing his findings on Wowhead at like 1 a.m. and spreading the word so people can actually understand how the system works and hopefully leave feedback so it can be tweaked before Antorus goes live.
Yeah, that would be good.
My screen is white. I don't know why the page isn't loading. One sec.
There it goes. Well, anyways, that was our talk about that trinket, which basically just turned into me like literally shaking my fist at Ian. Okay, so Silithus is torn apart.
Yeah,
that's a thing.
So like, this is really big. Like, if we're showing an image, we put a spoiler tag up. Like, I feel like everything on the PTR is a spoiler.
Like, to be honest, it's scaled so poorly right now that it's not really much of a spoiler. I feel like the image isn't much of a spoiler.
People have gotten upset. So I don't know.
Goodness.
Like, I shared this on Facebook, and people were like, "Oh, I'm upset." I'm like, it's like everywhere else already. Like, I was late to post the image. Like, okay. So yeah, this is a thing. It looks torn apart. There's speculation that, if Sargeras has some presence in the Argus fight, that he does something really petty and makes a mess in Silithus.
That's like a very confusing place for that to happen. So wait, let's
Cthulhu is there, so he could so Khadgar in voiceover says, the Legion is defeated, but in its final spiteful act, Sargeras may have doomed us all. Our world is wounded, champion. Its life essence seeps out into the sands just as Magni foresaw. So my guess, I don't know anything about this, but my guess is that Sargeras creates this angry thing, Azeroth is bleeding, Cthulhu's nearby, and he's like trying to siphon off, Azeroth's blood to do terrible things.
Yeah. Fantastic.
So like Sargeras is all locked up, but he's like set a bad motion of events, happening, and Azeroth is having nightmares that terrible things is going to happen, and it, came true. So that's what I think is what's going on.
Well, yeah, it just, I didn't literally mean like from a lore perspective. It's just we haven't heard anything about Silithus in so long, and then all of a sudden we're just putting a game in Silithus.
I mean, it's the Chronicle novel, like the first one, like really focused on Silithus with like the Black Empire, and there was all that discussion, when the Hearthstone expansion came out, the old gods, like, when will we see, like, N'Zoth in World of Warcraft? And, we saw that Kirin Tor armor that had, like, the tentacles on it, so maybe this is a tie-in thing, with the old gods.
Yeah.
We also saw a lot of, like, data mined NPCs that were max-level versions of the Silithus mob, so this could be, like, a transition zone, like, trying to move the story from Argus to whatever the next expansion could be.
For sure. Like,
oh, now we came back from Argus, and Sargeras, and after the raid did something bad, and, killed some mobs and get some pre-expansion stuff.
Yeah.
So that's what I think it's going to be.
All right.
Also, the map looks weird because, so this is just an interesting data thing. Usually when there's a map, like, we data mine the actual map, but Blizzard hid that. What they didn't hide was the mini-map assets, so we, like, jigsaw puzzled like the grainy mini map together, so I think they were trying to hide it, but they didn't, hide all the assets in all the places, so that's how we got the map.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, I'm excited.
I don't think this is coming in 7.3.2. I think this is coming in like 7.3.
Yeah.
3,
like closer to expansion.
Yeah.
All right, I took the spoiler tag off because I think we're good with. Oh,
okay.
Not really. Okay, why don't you? I'll flip it over to you to talk about Illidan and Turellian and Ilaria, because you're definitely much more up to date on lore than I am, and I'll put this on you. And here is a spoiler tag. Oh, hold on.
Do I sound normal? I hear the cat.
He's doing something, but I don't know what. Where's the spoiler?
Okay, no, he's over there. He's not eating the wire like I thought.
Ah, there it is. All right, we have a spoiler tag.
All right, so we data mined a bunch of audio files as well as text dialogue. The first thing I'll be talking about is Illidan's message to Tyrande and Malfurion, which is really notable because throughout Legion, people are like, where are they? Like, why aren't they talking to each other? Like, they're in the same place in the Nighthold. Like, what is going on? Mm-hmm. And we're finally getting some closure and answers to that. We previously data mined that Illidan in some form becomes a jailer of Sargeras, and that's his, like, heroic sacrifice. And we data mined him saying, like, his goodbye messages to Tyrande and Malfurion and explaining how, like, when he went to Argus, he knew that he would, like, forever stay there. So he writes really sad messages to them, like with Malfurion. He's like, we've clashed with each other, but, we both wanted to save Azeroth from an unstoppable foe, and, like, you're awesome, brother. I don't want us to be, at each other's throats. And then with Tyrande, he addresses how he still loves her, and, like, her awesomeness and her devotion was kind of his light through dark times. And he actually says something sweet. He's like, I leave Azeroth's defense to you and to my brother. Take care of him. Though at times I wished your heart had made a different choice, in the end I know it made the right one. So you get this crystal, you give the messages to Tyrande and Malfurion, and they send it kind of cold in response. Like, Malfurion's all like, my brother made selfish choices, brought pain to so many. His transgressions are difficult to forgive. And yet there were times where we fought for a common cause, a shared purpose. Those were the good days. But now is not the time to ponder personal regrets. We must see to healing the world, champion. Like, he just gives Illidan a sentence. And Tyrande's like, contrite words, yet I must wonder whether he truly meant them. After Illidan faced defeat at the top of the Black Temple, I tried to let go of my feelings, my distrust and bitterness. Mm-hmm. So, like, they seem kind of jaded, and, like, Illidan is all, like, opening himself up and just, like, essentially locked himself away in a prison again. So I wonder if there's more to it, like, like, we give them the message, they say this, and then, like, they walk away and emote, like, oh, Tyrande sighs and brushes a tear away when you're not looking or something, but they sounded kind of cold, so I wonder if there's more. But, she's also like, when I learned he was alive, I could not bring myself to speak to him. And it's just like, really? Like, I don't know. It's like he's talking to everyone. He's like, making jokes with Velen. He's, like, yelling at Zera. He's, all up in the players' faces telling them to, collect pristine Argonite. So, yeah. I don't know. It's not perfect, but it's something.
Yeah.
And then the other audio files, by the way, you can listen to all these on Wowhead's YouTube.
Yeah, it's just it's like 10-20 minutes probably all together, so
yeah.
We can't put
so this next part we don't have audio for, but it's a lot of, like, ending messages where Trallion's like, oh, the war's over, like, I'm going back to Azeroth, and a lot of the messages are like that. I guess we've learned who survives if they have, a message at the end. But the really interesting thing was Alleria and Verisa. And so Alaria's all like, Verisa told me what has befallen Sylvanas. Though I dread the meeting, I must see with my own eyes what she has become. Is she even my sister anymore, or some light-forsaken monster? But of course, I have changed as well. And then Verisa's all like, Alleria has changed. She wields powers I do not fully comprehend. But in her heart, she remains my beloved sister. I know it. The news of Sylvanas weighs heavily upon her. There are matters to be settled face to face. The Windrunner sisters must meet, and there is only one place it can be done. So it's like, we're getting a reunion with them.
Yeah.
Like, that's super cool.
That's definitely cool.
Yeah.
And that's something that people have been waiting for all expansion.
I know. So I'm like, are they going to meet in Ghostlands, at their old ancestral home where we get Sylvanas' locket? Like, I'm super excited about seeing them.
You for someone who plays Alliance, you really do love Sylvanas, though.
She's really cool. Like, back in Wrath, when there was the Shadowmourne rewards, if you get, like, the Sylvanas box, like the Magni toy, like, I really wanted the Sylvanas toy, because I'm like, oh, like, she's, like, a really, she's a leader, and she has to make difficult choices, and it's not, an easy situation she found herself in, and, like, I just really, I respect that and find that inspiring versus someone that does everything perfectly and kind of has an easier situation.
Absolutely.
So those are all the dialogue things, and we have even more, like, Luthraxian being like, hey, and Arator being like, wow, I have parents, and Velen being like, I'm sad about Argus, so you can see all that on Wowhead.
My internet just did a weird thing, guys. I'm sorry that is lagging for you. I'm trying to get that taken care of without having to stop streaming, so give it just a second. It should catch up.
My cat's being cute.
It also could be Twitch.
Oh no, Pepe! No, Pepe!
And everybody missed it.
Okay, no.
Give me just 2 seconds, guys. I'm just gonna run downstairs and see if anything weird is going. Give me like 2 seconds. I'll be right back.
Alright. Right, Poe, what are you doing? Say hello to the stream. Look at the stream. Isn't the stream nice? Baby, what are you doing? You're playing with the plushies. He's such a good cat. I love having a cat. I've never had a cat before. Just as a reminder, as she's fixing that, we are having a giveaway this week. It is the Alterac Brew Pup, and you enter with keyword Brewfest in Twitch chat. And as usual, if you have questions, send them to SAS148.
We're back I'm back to green on my end. You're still showing very laggy for me. Can you just turn off your video and turn it back on?
Yeah, one sec.
Whew, I ran. I was not prepared.
Is that better?
You're not back yet.
I just turned it back on.
Do you look laggy on your own preview? You look very laggy for me, and I just went and checked, and it was not my internet on my end.
I look fine. I could reset the modem, but yeah, I'm like moving my head around.
We're pretty close to the end of the notes. I don't think it's worth all that. I just figured I would check. So sorry about robotic perk. I think you guys can hear her fine. I think it's just the webcam that's acting up.
Yeah, like I look totally fine. Like I don't know if we want to. I could turn it off and on again. I don't know what to do.
It's fine. So let's talk about. Are we on to what is going on in live World of Warcraft?
Yeah. Oh, he's being super cute. I'm sorry, I'm robotic.
It seems like it's getting better. Hang on, let me try to call you real quick. Let me put this on a different frame, and let me just try to. Wait, did it just come back? I think it just came back. It's like you threaten to shut it off and then it starts working.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what happened. Okay, so we're good now. Thank you for dealing with. It's like no matter what, every show we have to have a technical difficulty. What would it even be? So we're on to live stuff. What's going on this week in World of Warcraft, you ask? Well, lots of stuff. We're currently Artifact Knowledge 46. There is
Which is ridiculous. There's like billions of artifact power.
If you feel like you're behind on any of your off specs, go do like 2 world quests. It's insane. You'll have your artifact concordance done in like 2 quests. It's crazy. So Artifact Knowledge 46. The PvP brawl is live this week, and it is South Shore versus Terran Mill, which if you don't have a great computer is probably not going to be a really good experience for you because it's 40 v 40, so it's just a lot to load. But it definitely has some nostalgic qualities to it. It was originally put into the game for the 10-year anniversary, and it comes back every so often as the PvP brawl. And I'm sure over time they'll perfect that to be, you know, better for everybody. But right now, if you aren't playing WoW at like ultra max graphics, it's probably not something that you're going to get a huge enjoyable experience out of. The Mythic Plus affixes this week are Sanguine, Volcanic, and Fortified, which are largely regarded as some of the easiest ones. So if you're trying to push...
We're going to get some Keystone records.
Yeah, if you're trying to push some high-level Mythics, definitely now is the week to do it. We also have the Greater Invasion Point World Boss. He's the guy that shares the name of the boss in Black Temple. What the heck is his name? Hold on. Is it the top or the bottom?
Supremus? No, I mean, they're both pet lords.
What the heck? Hold on, I'm fine. Oh, you just looked like you got hacked by someone. Pit Lord Vilemus, that's his name.
Yeah.
Pit Lord Vilemus is the Legion Greater Invasion that you can do on Argus. Then we also have the Broken Isles World Boss, who is Drugon the Frostblood. He doesn't drop anything super exciting. He used to drop, well, he still does technically drop the Vantage Room for Guarm. It's just that no one cares anymore.
Yeah.
Then the Legion Dungeon event is the bonus event this week. So while the buff is active, you'll get an extra piece of loot off of the last boss. And if you complete, I believe, 4 mythic dungeons, you get a piece of heroic Tomb of Sargeras loot, as well as artifact power and stuff like that. The archaeology event is the same as last week, meaning that you'll be able to get the Spear of Rethu, which is a heirloom pole arm, correct? Not a staff, agility pole arm. That starts out leveling from 1 to 100, but it can be upgraded to level 110. If you want that, definitely get it now because it's on a 6-month reset, so you won't be able to get it for 6 more months. In addition to that, obviously Brewfest is going until the 6th. The Harvest Festival is going until the 6th. Is that all the things?
Dark Moon Fair ends this Sunday.
Yeah, Dark Moon Fair until Sunday.
Get the Wii buff because it's good for Army of the Light and Argosian Reach. And the buff also stacks with the Brewfest Enthusiast buff that you can get every 12 hours at like 6 a.m. So you can have a nice experience buff if you haven't hit 110 yet.
Yeah, and also I think the coolest thing right now to do at the Dark Moon Fair is that every half an hour, so every hour on the half an hour, the World Boss guy spawns, the Frost Death Knight. the Death Metal Knight. That's what he's called.
Yeah.
The Death Metal Knight, and you can kill him, and there's all sorts of little prizes you can get, but the best one is definitely the Vanity Cage helmet, which there's one for every single armor type, so definitely check that out if you haven't already. And then also, prior to all of this, the audio drama came out last week, which I actually listened to on my way to Scotland.
Oh, awesome.
I think I might have dozed off towards the end, but I got definitely, I mean, it was a long overnight flight, and I had been stuck in JFK for like 30 hours.
I know, that was terrible.
The fact that I got any sleep is honestly amazing. I think I might have fallen asleep for the very, very end of it, but I definitely would recommend it. It is kind of like an audiobook, but not, because there's voice actors for all the character dialogue, there's music, the narrator is separate from the voice acting, so it feels, I feel like this is probably what an old-timey radio show was like.
Yeah, I liked it. I wish they would do more than this. I think I prefer the audio dramas to the actual books, because you can listen to this as you're questing through Argus, as opposed to having to like sit down with a hardcore novel and hard just
and it's only like 2 hours long too,
Yeah.
so it's not nearly as, even an audiobook, I think the Illidan audiobook takes 8 hours to listen to, which is it's a long time to listen and be tuned in, but this was very interesting, and they paint a really beautiful visual picture for you, and I learned a lot. Like, I didn't know Ilaria and Tyrellian had a kid. That was news to me, and I feel like I should have known this, but I've you know, it's, at some point somebody got it in their head that I know about lore. I don't. Let me be clear, I'm not a lore buff. Like, I've read like Rise of the Horde, which is like the very first in the series kind of books, and I did a lot of research around the Warcraft movie lore to find the differences and stuff, but truthfully, like, I am no novel. Like, that is not me at all. So I'm always like excited to learn more, because I wish I had the time to consume all of the books, but there's so many at this point, I just feel overwhelmed. So I wish that we could get more.
I really like making connections between like the lore you see in the quest versus like what you see in the books. You can actually experience it in game, and I really enjoyed this because, you know, I really like Burning Crusade. I like hearing more about elf history. Lothraxian is just kind of like a funny holy demon, so I really enjoyed learning more about this.
I really enjoyed learning about it as well, and I liked, there were a lot of like twisty turny things going on in this audio drama as well. Like, there was one point where they're like, and she slit his throat, and I like was by myself on a plane, obviously not by myself, there's like hundreds of other people there, but like I literally was like like gasped, audibly gasped, and like it was just a plot twist, everything was okay, but like definitely check it out. It's only 2 hours. It's definitely worth checking out, and I wish that they would do more of these in the future, because it was much more entertaining than a regular audio book. In my opinion, with all the voice acting and stuff. It was much easier to get into and to kind of picture what was going on. I feel like I pictured a lot of the stuff happening like on the Vindicar, like when in my mind.
Same. I definitely picture that. I'm like, no, they're actually not there yet.
I know they're not, but like in my mind, a lot of this was happening like in the Vindicar. But that's okay. It was really great, and I would definitely check it out. I don't want to like spoil anything for you. If you haven't listened to it, it's only 2 hours. Definitely listen to it. I wish they would have released it as one long thing that also could have been downloaded, because I have YouTube Red, so I downloaded each one individually, but it didn't want to like play them in order because of the way they were uploaded. So I really wish they would have just done it as one part, or at least offered like, here's the 3 pieces, and then maybe a week later did the one part, or offered it on iTunes. I would have paid for it.
Like the opening of the tomb with Gul'dan and Khadgar. But yeah, if you're I don't want to spoil it either, but like if you're curious what's in it, if you've wondered why Ilaria was talking about being imprisoned during, you know, the early quest line, or why she knows Locust Walker, or why Lothraxian is a holy demon, or why, you know, they're talking about time flowing differently, you know, fighting for 1,000 years versus, you know, only a few decades on Azeroth. It answers all of these questions. And just to plug the Wowhead post, Blizzard was awesome enough to share the drama with us like a day in advance, and also gave us some posters to give away. So I went all out and I wrote this like big analysis of all the parts and try to speculate on what this could mean for the future. And also did a part where you can actually, like, if you care about this character, like, here's where you can find them in game and get Lothraxian. So I had a lot of fun writing that post, and it not only covers Ilaria and Tyrellian, but you also learn more about history of Argus as well, and some of the whispers that Magni was hearing. So highly recommend. And Yeah, I hope they do more of these things. They were talking, absolutely. I think Christy Golden is now a Blizzard employee.
Yeah.
Like Taryn Gregory's talking about it. So if this is some stuff she was, you know, working on or coordinating, Robert Brooks was the author of this, by the way. I would love to see more of this from like the story narration department. I think
absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely. This was a great way to learn about the game, for sure.
Yep.
So we have a lot of good things to say.
Yep.
Do you want to do our Q&A after the things we talk about, or do you want to take questions now? Or was this live Q&A talking about tomorrow's Q&A?
Oh yeah, yeah, just, you know, heads up, there is a Q&A tomorrow on the 5th with Ian talking about early parts of patch 7.3, so get your questions in on the Netherlight Crucible and what these data mine legendary tokens are, and all sorts of other good stuff.
Yeah, now I was in Scotland for the Mythic Dungeon Invitational, so you should talk about this.
Yeah, so this was really exciting. Like, Blizzard has been pushing PvP esports for such a long time, and they finally did a PvE Invitational, and it got great viewership. It had like 60,000 viewers by the finals, which is, you know, really awesome for WoW. I think that's the highest amount the Warcraft channel has had for the entire year, and it was super fun to watch. And we made a new series of guides on Wowhead. We launched them right during the finals, and they were super popular. These were written by Volk of Questionably Epic, and they break down all the trash routes and like what percentage each mob gives you, and certain tips on every affix, and it even includes Seat of the Triumvirate, which, if you were watching the finals, there was the very first time Seat was in the tournament, and it was the first match of the finals, and you could tell the teams had never done Seat. Like, they actually were getting the heroic achievement for Seat at the end, and it was this huge white fest, and it was actually kind of entertaining to watch because it wasn't the same old,
we're whipping through this, we know everything, we have a strategy.
Yeah.
They just got kind of really thrown off guard.
Yeah, so it was really fun to watch. I'm pretty sure they'll do more in the future. Morgan Day at Blizzard, in an interview with Forbes, was talking about changes they want to make for the next one, so that kind of, you know, unofficially said there's going to be another one. They wanted to change how combat resurrections and Mythic Dungeons work. So, like, in a raid, you have a shared resource system, and they want to do that for Mythic Dungeons so you don't bring, like, everyone that can battle res.
Yeah.
We also just put up our recap of the third week today. Dieter Sere, who writes our esports recaps for PvP, we've got her doing PvE recaps. People really liked her in-depth week 2 recap, so we're going to do that moving forward. And it's just funny looking at the death total, because it's like, it's like 40, 50 deaths for Seat of the Triumvirate. I think the death counter even like broke at one point because like everyone was just chain wiping.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was a really interesting event, and I hope they can expand that in the future. Like, I would personally like to see some interviews after the matches. In the last week, Blizzard added like talent and gear inspection, but they didn't show that for everyone, so I'd like to see more of that. And another thing is that there's so much gear swapping, especially on a tournament realm where like every trinket is available, and I think it would make for interesting choices and discussion if you were limited to like the same gear throughout the run. So it's more about like skill and not like,
that would really even
I have like
things
10 different trinkets I'm swapping
That's
between.
like hard though, because I feel like it's arguable that part of the skill is like knowing what trinkets to use and which kind to use.
Yeah.
I more so feel like they should somehow let everything be available to them, right? So
they do have everything available, but like it makes for weird situations where it's like, so I think the most interesting example was Violet Hold has a trinket that Shiver Moan's Jawbone, which is very good.
Mm-hmm.
And because there's no Mythic plus Violet Hold, like you can't really like run Mythic Violet Hold and get like Titan Forged at the end of it. So the odds of people having it on live servers is very low. But on the tournament realm, like you can just like roll up in this, max level trinket.
Yeah. I said, I hadn't watched it because I was in Scotland, so I didn't realize.
So I mean, I think there is some interesting gear swaps, but I think that it would be cool if the discussion was around like the trash routes or like the raid comps to defeat bosses, as opposed to like, well, on trash, like the run speed thing was equipped and then it was taken off on the boss.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'm really excited about that, and I hope they do more of that, because I don't think people expected that this tournament would just come out of nowhere and, get record views. And
I wouldn't have
really
expected that many people, for sure.
And like every match set up for the final day went to the maximum number. It wasn't like, oh, here's a sweep. It's like there were favorites getting eliminated.
Yeah, and I think part of its popularity is because it's a more like relatable thing. Whereas like, you know, a lot of people do dungeons, even if it's not Mythic dungeons, they're still doing a certain amount of dungeons. It just feels like more relatable content to a lot of people, I think.
Right. And I think with Arena as well, it's like a lot of it's defensive, you know, like people are dancing around or line of sight, and then it's like, the cooldowns are down, like pile on the guy. While with the dungeons, it's always like, oh, you know, did they pull the wrong trash mob, or like someone's always dying every minute, or like, oh, they have 2 routes and one person seems ahead but they've cleared less trash. Like there's always something dynamic going on.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So
yeah,
we'll probably see more of that at BlizzCon. That was a fire segue right there. So the BlizzCon schedule is live now. Some of the noteworthy stuff is the World of Warcraft What's Next panel on Friday at 12:30. The Voices of Blizzard Powerful Women of Warcraft at 2:45 on Friday. The Gameplay and Systems World of Warcraft panel from 4 to 4:45 on Friday. Then Saturday morning, there's a panel called Living Blizzard Pursuing Your Passion, which is a content creator panel, so you can probably expect to see like YouTubers, streamers, people like that. That's 10 a.m. on Saturday. The Art of World of Warcraft at 12:45 on Saturday. The World of Warcraft Live Q&A at 4 p.m. on Saturday. The World of Warcraft Boss Design Workshop at 5:15, which overlaps, but luckily with the virtual ticket this year, you get everything for at least a month. So if you have 2 things you want to see at the same time, you can watch both things. It's fine.
I think the design workshop's going to be hilarious because people are like, oh, like, I could design this. And you're going to be like, hey, have fun. It's like, oh my god, this is so overwhelming.
This is terrible. This is terrible. Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff. That is just like the tip of the iceberg of how many things are scheduled for BlizzCon this year. So be sure to check out BlizzCon.com for more information and this full schedule. They're releasing new videos every week to get hyped up for BlizzCon. The virtual ticket is like totally revamped this year. It's like a whole big to-do
You can see like
event.
every single panel like that's on the stage.
Literally
it's not just
every
the main
panel.
stage.
Yeah, not just the main stage, which is something that a lot of people are excited about, especially with like the voice actor panel is usually not one that's on the virtual ticket.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that people haven't gotten to see in the past that they get to see now. So now more than ever, you're really getting your money's worth out of the virtual ticket. Plus, of course, you're getting the mounts in-game, all of the in-game rewards for the other games eventually.
We don't even know what they are yet. I wonder when we'll hear. I mean, obviously soon. BlizzCon
soon, TM. Also, the BattleNet app is a thing now, because
and it has emojis.
Consolidate all of their apps. What the frick?
I know, and the name it's like the Blizzard BattleNet app. So can it just be like the app?
But this is a chat app, which is really nice. You can chat with all of your friends on Battle.net. You can use emojis. Now, can you use the emojis that like you earn in Heroes of the Storm, or just
no? This is just like phone emojis. They actually pushed the emojis out like 2 days before the app went live. And you have to like paste them over. So you have to like when I tested, like I had to open up like an emoji in Twitter and then paste it into the client.
Oh, that'll probably be updated eventually. It probably has to do with the type of keyboard on your phone and stuff like that.
Yeah, like when they launched emojis, it just was the desktop thing, so it makes a lot more sense that they added emojis to now work on your phone.
Yeah. So that's the thing, if you're interested. Hopefully soon they'll consolidate it, because we have the Legion Companion app, we have the Armory app, we have the BattleNet app, right? Are there more, or is it just the 3?
No, I think it's just those 3, but that's still a lot. That's still and like the name, like can it just be like the Blizzard app? Like why is it the Blizzard BattleNet mobile app?
It's because they can't decide if they're BattleNet or not. They can't decide. What about Wowhead? What's going on Wowhead?
So we have a lot of giveaways and stuff going on. As mentioned, we had the high-level Mythic Keystone guides go live during the Invitational, and Warcraft actually retweeted one of them, so that was exciting. So they're written by Volk, as mentioned. In the announcement post, we have like a teaser of what you can expect to see in the guides. Like it's so cool. There's like pictures of every trash pull being like, X, avoid this, like check mark, do this. It's 5% completion. So I'm really impressed by them. We have part 3 of Novel's Story of Shadows of Argus, in which Novel covers a bit of popular lore on Wowhead, and then we tell you more info about it. You know, like, hey, you can actually get the Fell Heart of Argus, or like if you haven't done invasions, you can do cool stuff with them. And we're running a giveaway for that. If you tell us what you think of the story, you could win a copy of World of Warcraft Chronicle 2, which is really exciting, highly recommended, amazing art, amazing lore, fills in a lot of questions. And we also have the WoW Economy Weekly Wrap-Up with Gumdrops. We've been running it for a few months, and it's been doing really well, so we also have a giveaway running for it, and that people are leaving really fun comments. To enter for a chance at a Luminous Starseeker and Twilight bundle, you just have to leave a comment about what was your biggest flip or sale on the auction house, and some really funny stories there. The comments are super fun to read. Let's see. Oh, there's actually one thing that didn't make it into the notes because it went live this afternoon, which I could just talk about briefly.
Sure.
The talent calculator on Wowhead is like one of the core features of the site. Like I think it was the first feature on the site, and we thought it would be really cool if it actually like gave you recommended talents. So using the API from Warcraft logs, we've set up a new area on the left-hand side of the calculator where you can see what are the most popular talents among top parses, as well as top legendaries and trinkets.
Interesting.
So you can be like, oh, like, you know, Mythic killed Jaden, like, what's the top legendary? Or like, oh, I don't have that, you know, what's the second top legendary?
Yeah.
And I'm really excited about this because now like the talent calculator is actually calculating something.
It's calculating things.
Yeah, and you know, big thanks to Warcraft logs for having this in their API. If you do like doing dev stuff, this is publicly available, so you could set up something similar as well. And yeah, it's super cool. It will do Nighthold and Tomb, and when Taurus comes out, it will do that as well. So yeah, awesome feature.
Also, I'm giving away a pet. Well, 5 pets. If you want to enter, I put the link in Twitch chat. It's just a Gleam giveaway. It's just like a follow me on Twitter, get entered to win, and there's 5 that I'm giving away. It's for Halloween, so there's still a month to enter. But just fun. That's all. That's all I got. What do we got for questions this week, Berg?
So Basic Mod says, any word on a BlizzCon schedule, which we went over, but he also asked about the Wowhead party details, will Panzer be there, etc. So there is a Wowhead party at the usual time and place. Panzer and I will be there.
Yep.
We are locking down a few details, but we aim to have the RSVP page live by mid-October, and, you know, expect to see the usual things. I just had a meeting at Blizzard this week confirming, you know, will the plushies be here? Like, you know, what will we put on the claw machine this year?
Yeah.
So things are definitely moving along.
What's also nice too, and I hope I'm not saying anything I'm not supposed to say, but we've structured the party a little bit differently this year. So I'll still be hosting the stage and the live stream portion of it, but we're also going to have an area, hopefully, for signings for streamers and YouTubers and stuff like that. So in the past, people can come and hang out, but I've not really been able to interact with people as much during the party because I'm working, and I should have like a 45-minute-ish break where I'll be doing signings and taking pictures at the Wowhead party. So there will be more.
And we're actually like planning stuff people can sign. We're thinking we'll take some of the artwork from, you know, the contest a few years ago and make posters of that, so people are like, like, post it, what do I get to sign? So we're being all organized this year.
And I usually bring stuff as well, so that we will be in good shape there. But that is something that we're definitely planning on this year that I'm really excited about. And there's also going to be some special guest stuff that we are not disclosing yet, but this should be really, really cool. So really excited about that. I can't disclose my BlizzCon schedule yet, but you will see me there for sure, either you know, whether you're at home or at BlizzCon, and hopefully I'll have time to do a meet and greet like we did did last year at the Dark Moon Fair. I should actually have, all things considered, more time to like spend at BlizzCon this year than I did in previous years, but I'm not allowed to say anything that I'm doing officially yet, but soon.
Also, the Wildhead pins are making a return. We're not doing Blizzard themed ones this year. I mean, that was amazing.
That was amazing one-time thing.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we're continuing with our own pins. We'll have another unique pin this year, hopefully. And we are looking to expand with patches and stickers because Blizzard's all about, you know, the patches. And the, you know, backpacks you get with the goodie bag have a little developer area, so you can have, like, Wildhead rockets on
Yeah, I actually, you know what, hold on, I can show you. Hold on, they're right here.
Yeah.
I have, okay, this is the only one I have with me, but I actually have several designs, but I had stickers printed that I'm giving away, and they're actually big enough that I could sign them as well. So I'll have stickers. I have like 1,500 of them, so I should have plenty to give away, but I tried to find something that was small enough, but like substantial too. But yeah, so I'm pretty excited. You hopefully will get to see me. I'm also partnering with some other companies at BlizzCon, so I'm doing some like other coverage for some other companies. So, and what's nice is I should have enough time to also do my own content. So if you are watching from home, I'll have, you know, my recap after the opening ceremony. I'll have reactions to all of those videos. I'll also have recaps at the end of each day. So even with everything that's going on, I should be able to give you a better amount of coverage, and I'm really excited about it. So thank you guys for all of the support, by the way. There's been a lot of people who were very complimentary last year when I did the Q&A. I don't think I'm doing the Q&A this year, but I think it's one of the things that they want to rotate. They want to have a bunch of different people do it, you know, which is fair. It shouldn't be. I think it's fun. There should never be a situation where one person always gets a job. It's just not fair to the rest of the community. Right. So don't worry in that sense. But I really do appreciate all the people who went on the forums and who tweeted Warcraft and were supportive, because that was very big and scary for me. I had never been on a stage like that, and if you've never been to BlizzCon, I can't really stress to you how enormous that crowd is.
It's gigantic.
I think that the area where the main stage is holds 12,000 people. There weren't 12,000 people sitting. I think there was closer to like 5 or 6, but being in front of 5 or 6,000 people
that's
is
like
a
someone's
lot of,
entire high school or something.
Yeah, I mean it was a lot, and I had never done anything like that. So I the biggest crowd I had ever done was a main stage panel at San Diego Comic-Con, which I think is only like 1,200 people. It was like a minuscule,
and that was closed. It wasn't like live streamed to the entire
exactly.
Like, Warcraft
universe.
It
was very different. So I really genuinely really appreciate all the people who supported me. And Wowhead, I mean, we had the pins last year, and we had the meetups, and both days they had to cap our line. So just I can't thank you guys enough.
I really appreciate that too. I mean, like, I'm always like working behind the scenes, making sure like the live blog happens and like the talents happen and like all the dev tools happen, and it's been really cool getting time to actually, you know, hang out with fans at the party and, you know, actually take some breaks so I can, you know, try to talk to people instead of running around in the press.
And it's funny because Perk and I spend all year talking about the party. Like, legitimately, it's something that so hopefully we're hoping for a better live stream this year. We're hoping for more events on stage for everybody. It's like every year we take things from previous years and say what worked, what didn't, what could be better, and we spend a year brainstorming. So every year, honestly, the most exciting part of BlizzCon for me is the party, because I feel like I put a lot of like my own creativity into that. So I'm really excited for that, and I hope that we have a great live stream this year so that everybody who can't make it can still kind of participate.
Yep.
Okay, I'm done with all my sappiness. What's the other question?
Also BlizzCon.
Oh,
it is by Madeline saying, can you ask the ladies if they think we will get an expansion reveal, and if so, what do they think the theme will be?
So first of all,
I mean,
okay, so let me just get this out there. My current biggest pet peeve are all the people on YouTube using the word confirmed to describe the expansion.
I know! I did not use the word confirmed. I was all like, your review, like, what... Ian has a Acosta says we'll get what's next at BlizzCon. And people are like, thank you for not doing that.
Yeah, no, literally, is it extremely likely that we'll get an expansion announcement? Yes. Like, do I think we're getting an expansion announcement? Yes. But I have seen headlines.
Ian did not say the word expansion in his video.
He literally was like, I can't wait to share what's going on in World of Warcraft in the future. And everybody's like, expansion confirmed! Like, that's not what happened, guys. That's not. But that being said, I don't think they're wrong. I think there will be an expansion reveal, but we know nothing. Like, you can't. So yes, I think it's a thing, but I don't think
also, going back to the whole pineapple and pizza thing, like, I wouldn't put it past Ian to be like, I had this idea that he'd be like, oh, like, we'll talk about what happens when we come back from Argus and, like, you know, the Silithus thing, and then just be like, mic drop, like, you know, like, expansion beta, like, look under your seats, you have a key, like,
you get a key, and you get a key, and you get a key.
Actually, you know, like, the expansion is there, but he just spends the whole time talking about, like, I know that's not going to happen, but it's like, there's been so many curveballs with Legion, and it's so different than every other expansion that I could just see him trying to, like, flip the paradigm.
Well, and I also, I mean, there's like, oh my god, I just saw myself on stream do the close-up. Like, I just saw that on the leg, like, it was so close to my face. I'm sorry for that, guys. I'm sorry. But I also wouldn't put it past Ian to come out. They do the whole opening ceremony, and they're like, oh, and by the way, the raid comes out on Tuesday, and not say anything about the expansion. And everybody be like, what? oh my god. And then, like, in the what's coming in World of Warcraft part, just all of a sudden Ian's like, oh, by the way, next expansion.
Yeah, like the whole Argus
thing.
Like, ooh, like,
yeah, he really, really enjoys mic dropping. So that being said, I do definitely think there will be an expansion. And I think we're on the right idea of, like, an old god. It probably will work off of our journey to Silithus. I'm a fan of a whole girl power. Like, if the Windrunners do more and, like, Jaina shows up, I'd be cool with all that. So, anyways, I definitely think we are getting an expansion announcement. And based on just patterns of things, last expansion we got a playable class, rather. So I think we will get a race this expansion, but... Yeah, but no new class. We don't... Yeah, if we get a race, we won't get a new class. I don't... See, like, I don't think we're getting a new race. Like, I think... I've seen a lot of people everything I've seen with Ian's stuff is all like, you know, hey, we have all this content, like, how do we get players to do stuff that's happened in the past 12 years, or, like, send them, you know, like, do assaults in the old zones. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people speculating that maybe we'll get sub-races, which is something that if you've been a long-time watcher of my videos, you know, it's funny, because this year I feel like I've been on this, if everybody is making videos about some hot topic, I don't want to make a video about it. Like, whatever, go watch everybody else's video. Like, I'm so like anti-clickbait that I'm honestly self-sabotaging. But I've said in past videos where I was talking about BlizzCon and my predictions that I always thought that they had so many opportunities to do like a sub race, like an Iron Dwarf or a High Elf that could be a Night Elf, or that could make sense if, you know, Illyria's back now. You know what I mean? So I feel like there's a lot of areas where they could do sub races that would be less taxing to like overhaul the whole game, but would still make it exciting to, you know, whether you change your main. I'm just thinking about Warlords of Draenor, how like there was so much art effort put into updating every single model, and you just, you know, like a race is like all new art and animations and making sure the old armor doesn't clip through their head, and I'm not sure if they do that versus being like, hey, we have like tons of zones already in the game, like we have tons of art assets. Like I could see them trying to take the dynamic like scaling and like try to do more of the old zones, like they've talked about that before. I could see them like expanding time walking. We've got we've got Outland time walking raid. I could see them trying to scale more of that content, like making the old stuff more evergreen versus being like, oh, new expansion, like buy old art, like buy old, you know, dev code. New question. This is just theoretical. If there was going to be a new race, what do you think it would be? And if there was going to be a new class, what do you think it would be? If you don't want to say think it would be, you can just say, like, in a perfect world, this is what I would get. So I think if there is a new class, it would be it sounds dumb to be like, oh, like a shadow hunter, because it's like, we've got like hunters and demon hunters, but I think that... Like some sort of void related... Some sort of like light versus void, especially what we learn about, you know, Illyria. I think that would be cool moving forward. Okay, and what about a race? I mean, I wouldn't make any sense, but like, I don't know, something like like a playable bug race. Like, these are the good bugs. Like, if, you know. Oh, because we're going to Silithus. Yeah. Like in a new Barak type. Okay. So my thoughts are, and this is a perfect world. This isn't really any lore based. If we were to have a new class, I would love, obsess over like a Mechaneer or some sort of engineering gadgety type class, and I would assume they would be able to be like goblins and maybe orcs, gnomes, humans. I would think they wouldn't be like LV races though. I would think that any like innately magical beings would be above that kind of thing. But a dwarf would totally be a Mechaneer, like, let's be honest. So I would love a Mechaneer. I would love that. And then as far as races, if we weren't to do sub races like Iron Dwarves, High Mountain Tauren, stuff like that, I would love to see... The Lightforged Draenei, like Army of the Light, that would be cool. I would love to, if we weren't going to have sub races, which I would enjoy, I would love to see like the Suramar type. They're like high elves, but not, and you know, maybe the Shaldorai. Yeah, like the Shaldorai, cool. And they could be Horde or Alliance. They could be a good neutral rate. Yeah, because they're all, you know, they're talking to Liadrin, they're talking to Turan. I feel like Transmog would look so good on them because they have those monster hide all bodies. So, I mean, the problem is that like Pepe does not sit on their heads, and they have to fix that. Like, well, Pepe thinks.
like you see like Pepe's eyes.
That's just a couple
out.
lines of code. I'm sure they could fix that. I'm sure they could fix
Pepe
that.
is very important. Pepe
But there's
is
a
also
lot of
not in
there's
Argus.
a lot of races in the game that are currently unused, like the Frost Giants and the Valkyrie in Northrend. Those are like full-on races. They have males and females, or like the Tonka. Or I know a lot of people want Naga. I really don't want Naga as a playable race, but a lot of people do. Yeah. But like, what do you can never have any cool transmog.
Like you can't wear boots or like legs or
like in okay.
It
So
just
in
makes
I feel like
the amount of immersion, like a fire encounter, like the Naga is just like this like water thing, like slithering through fire. And
well, okay, so I know I probably relate World of Warcraft to Skylanders Imaginators way too often, but they're both made by Activision, so I feel like there's some shared ideas there. And there is a class in Skylanders that every single one of them, I think they're the Knight class, every single one of them has a snake bottom. Like they're like mermaids, or they maybe have an alligator tail, but they all kind of do this floaty animation, and they all don't have two legs. And that class, the pants are like a weird little like belt with like hangy things on it. So I just feel like there's no way they're gonna add Naga if for no other reason than one, there would be no pants or boots transmogs in the entire game for them, or they would have to make art assets of every single piece.
Yeah, we just said they were kind of trying not to.
I don't think that's going to happen, and I don't think it would be fair for them to be just nude from the waist down all the time. Like, let's be clear, that's never a good look on anybody. Like, nude from the waist down? No.
No.
No. So, all right, what's our next question?
Okay, this is a quick Low Korean Tonic says, any news on how we will be able to get honor artifact skins after Legion? They look great, but oh my god, the grind. We have no idea, and we know that's a hot topic question. And a lot of casual PvPers are like, oh my god.
There's been a lot of like, oh, if you don't get this appearance now, don't sweat it. There's been, but not specifically about PvP, so we don't know, but I would err on the side of I think we'll be able to get it, but then it could also be like a legacy thing that you can only get one time.
I mean, I'm also really, I'm curious what's going to happen to Prestige after Legion. Like, do we get reset to 1? Like, it might be crazy. Like, it wouldn't make sense, though. Like, if you're at 20 and, like, you know, it would be really sad if you got reset to 1 and then like.
I feel like there should be some sort of like legacy counter, but I also feel like every expansion, everything resets. Like if you're a Mythic Raider dripping in Mythic gear, you still have to start over in crap starting gear, essentially.
Right. So, but like if you're grinding like a mount or pet total or something, or like a rep grind, it's not like, oh, your rep is reset to what, you know, to 0 when the expansion hits.
Fair enough. Yeah, it depends on how they're. I would think that, like, any of your... But if they reset it, it would be like, okay, so they could have it be, like, Legion Prestige, and then whatever the next... Like, Old Gods Expansion Prestige, and they could just be separate Prestiges.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
So,
next question.
Winchester CTR says, will Argus always be in the sky after we move on, or will it disappear again?
No, we're going to blow that up. I'm telling you. I don't know that as a fact, but that's getting blown up. We're blowing it up, boys. Mechaneer class going to shoot rockets right into the planet.
I think it would look really weird if it was like, there was like no more sky in Azeroth forever. It just was this planet.
Yeah, no, we're blowing that up. It's going away for sure. Or, you know what would be even cooler if we blew it up and forever there was like chunks of random debris.
I think that'd be sad. It's
remember
like,
that time we blew up that evil planet?
Like, the sky is broken, there's like a brown blob in it. What do I do?
Listen, we had broken Stormwind for longer than we had usable Stormwind. You're telling me we can't have some planet junk floating around in the sky? We can do it. We have the technology.
Yeah. And then finally, Night Swifty had 2 collectible questions. One's a little specialized. It's back in 7.2 when we got Legion Invasions. We data mined some transmog. And is it available to players? What were the names of the items set? This was actually earlier than 7.2. Let me see if I can...
Were those the Chromie sets?
No, it was the it was what the final dude in Blackbird Cold is wearing, Ravencrest.
Oh.
It's his plate set. No, we don't know how to get that, but it is what the guy in the dungeon is wearing, so maybe we just data mined that, you know, specific model, and it was only boss armor. But yeah, no way of getting that plate set.
Yeah.
He was also asking about how Legion's been grindy in terms of rewards, and now we have the Army of the Light Paragon box, which can have 3 mounts and 1 toy. and that's pretty, you know, difficult to grind out and get. And basically, do we think we will ever get bad luck protection from mount drops? They've been pretty against bad luck protection, like this always keeps coming up, so I don't know. I think it would be useful, especially if we move on to a new expansion. Like, I don't think
I hope that at some point
people
they
to be
make
farming
that...
Army of the Light for years. But
yeah, I would hope that at some point, like maybe after this expansion, all of those mounts that are in random caches right now would be available to purchase from a vendor, as long as you're exalted and you have like a lot.
Or they could move Paragon to like every 1,000 versus 10,000, or
yeah, just something so that in the future, when
get.
it's irrelevant content, you can still go get those mounts.
Yeah, like I really doubt they want people to be doing like 3 hours of like dailies a day trying to
in an old expansion for sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
also,
to be fair though, they've never made it easier to get the tournament mounts, and there's about 20 of them.
Right, but like if you do that for a few weeks, like you will get them. While with these, it's like, well, if you do them for a few weeks, you have a chance of not getting this.
Well, okay, so if you do it for a few weeks, you'll get one, and then you do it for another few weeks, and you get another one. Like it probably takes a year to get all of those mounts. I hear you, but also Blizzard doesn't have a good track record with making it easier to get mounts, so I don't want to give anybody false hope here.
Also, just by coincidence, the giveaway bot has picked Night Swifty as the prize winner for the Alterac Group Hub.
Congrats!
So, congrats to him.
He subscribed to us today, too.
Yep. Night Swifty is also the guy that leaves all the detailed comments on the secret finding discoveries and runs the achievement Discord, and they wrote the Glory of the Tomb Raider achievement guide, so check out his stuff on Wowhead.
Yeah, definitely. Well, guys, that was it for this week's show. We actually kind of ran long today, surprisingly. We've had short shows lately, and today we blabbed and blabbed and blabbed. But thank you guys so much for coming and tuning into us live here at twitch.tv/Wowhead. We do Wowhead Weekly every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Pacific Time, 6 p.m. Eastern, and then we upload the VOD the next day to youtube.com/Wowhead and embed it on the front page of wowhead.com the following morning. So thank you for watching us there. If you are subscribed to us on Twitch, a special thank you to you guys. That directly supports our show. We really, really appreciate it. Enjoy all of the emotes, etc. So on and so forth. And our biggest thank you goes to our Wowhead Premium subscribers. Wowhead Premium costs $1 a month or $9 for the whole year. It can be gifted, and it removes all ads from Wowhead, as well as lets you talk in a special color, lets you track quests. There's a bunch of perks, but the biggest perk is obviously
Discord
no
color.
ads. Yeah, Discord color. But the best part is obviously no ads, and that's on mobile or desktop as long as you're signed in. That can be gifted once again, so if you see a Wowhead comment that you found particularly helpful, you can gift that person a month or a year of Wowhead Premium, and I'm sure they would appreciate it. But thank you so, so much once again, and we will see you next Wednesday. Same Wowhead time, same Wowhead channel. Have a great week, guys, and we'll see you soon. Goodbye.
Yep. Bye.